After my son's passing, my daughter-in-law threw me out. During the will reading, she jeered at me. You won't get a cent from your son's will. I promise you. Hearing this, the lawyer smiled and said, there's one more item left. Then he read it. My daughter-in-law fainted. Imagine standing at your son's freshly dug grave, barely moments after laying him to rest, when his wife, your daughter-in-law, turns to you with a chilling smirk. She thought she'd just buried her ticket to a lavish new life, and was ready to kick me out onto the street like trash. But what she didn't know was that my son, even on his deathbed, had already set a trap she'd never see coming. Dennis was so difficult to care for these last months. The words, dropped so casually from Vera's lips, hit me like a splash of ice-cold water. I stood there, frozen beside my son's casket, the funeral program trembling in my hands. Vera, my daughter-in-law, was scrolling through her phone, utterly detached, as if she hadn't just spoken about my dead son like a burden she'd finally shed. Vera, I managed, my voice cracking through the cold March air. We just buried my son. Show some respect. She finally looked up, irritation flashing across her perfectly made-up face. The wind whipped through the cemetery, scattering white lilies. Other mourners had stopped talking. They were listening now. Your son. Her laugh was sharp, bitter. He was my husband, Horace. And now? Everything is mine. My grip tightened, tearing the funeral program slightly. My engineering mind, always so precise, just couldn't process what I was hearing. This woman had stood beside Dennis for 7 years, promised to love him in sickness and in health. And here she was, barely 30 minutes after we'd lowered him into the ground, talking about possession and ownership. What's wrong with you? I whispered, but my voice carried further than I intended. At least pretend you're sad. Tom Riley, Dennis's business partner, stood 20 feet away, holding his wife's arm, both staring at us, utterly shocked. Martha Ellis, a dear family friend, was moving closer, her face pale with concern. Vera slipped her phone into her designer purse. Sad, Horace? I've been planning my new life for months. Dennis knew this marriage was over. We both did. That's not true. The words came out strangled. He loved you. She adjusted the expensive black coat Dennis had bought her last Christmas. Even the cancer was convenient. It gave me time to think. To plan. Now I can finally live again. Martha reached us just as Vera turned toward the parking area. Vera, please. This isn't the time or place. Vera's heels clicked against the concrete. Actually, Martha, this is exactly the time. I've spent 18 months playing the devoted wife. I'm done performing. The remaining guests huddled in small clusters, whispering. Mrs. Henderson from the church shook her head slowly. The 3 engineers from Dennis's team looked profoundly uncomfortable, shuffling their feet, avoiding eye contact. I watched Vera walk away, her stride confident, purposeful. Not a single tear had fallen from her eyes during the service. Not one. While I'd barely held myself together reading the eulogy, she'd sat in the front pew, checking her watch, tapping her manicured nails. Horace, Martha's hand touched my shoulder. Are you all right? I couldn't answer. My throat felt raw, scraped clean by disbelief and a growing, seething anger. The woman Dennis had trusted with his full story on the channel. Link below. Click now and watch what happened next.